Over these. That's obvious bullshit. I have my own voice back. It's good. And let's have the other one also working. And that would be.
I'm just gonna love it if Wooster
there we go.
gets our voices back, but he mutes himself instead.
No, it should be working right now. So it appears.
All right, let's
somebody
see.
changed the settings.
Let's see. You're talking at that volume. I'm talking at this volume. My normal microphone broke. Or my normal mic stand. I have one. Because I'm an ex-musician. I had one of those like mic stand that has a pole, and then you can put the thing here. But it literally just cracked. So.
Oof.
Also, a big thanks to Froggy for 10 continued months of subscription.
Woohoo!
We are making bank now. Da, 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 da.
You get a shout out. No, I don't know. Is that what the kids are saying nowadays?
Yeah. Shout out to our biggest fan, Frog Scanner, for being here since episode 1. It's just kind of creepy, to be honest.
No,
Yes.
we have. For any other watchers, no, we have not just strapped him to a chair just to watch, like the chicken and robot chicken.
Well,
Don't get the
Frog
reference.
Scanner.
Unless that's what he's into. Unless that's what he's into.
Am I calling Frog Scanner fat him by calling Frog Scanner our biggest fan? No, I'm just saying that our fans are rather small.
Yeah, our fan base has been on a slimming diet.
So, it's my turn today. Yay, I'm prepared. Hopefully.
Almost as well as I was.
How's your all week's been?
You had 2 days to prep when you went on Thursday. Yeah,
You
so it's
had
John's
2
game.
weeks to prep.
Yeah,
You had 2 weeks.
Well, he had 2 weeks, but he forgot about it, so he had 2 days when he went on Thursday.
No. The first 12 days is his fault.
Yeah, I know. But I just loved how he was just going, hey, it's John's game, isn't it? And I went, no. It's your pleasure today. Coming up.
Actually,
about a week.
This is going to be the 3rd time I've run this scenario, and it's a scenario that I invented. I should probably write this one out.
Yeah.
For beginning to an end. This is only part 1 of the big. This is like the pre-lit. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We should be good.
Oh, is that a requirement now? Okay, I better change my character sheet.
He's excited. You just can't hide it.
I like your background. Oh yeah, Attica's jungle.
Yeah,
Jungle
I should get
in
more
the
background images.
No singing. That's right. That will get copyrighted. That's from Jethro Tull. Bungle in
Yeah,
the
but-
jungle.
yeah, we
What
do that.
is that you're copywriting? Don't make it easy for them.
Owned by Sony.
Lucky-
Owned by EMI Records.
Luckily, if I sing a song, no copyright claim is gonna be issued because it's gonna be so off key that they're not gonna recognize it anyway.
Snap. Snap. Wait, does that mean that the last one that I did was on key perfectly?
Yes, it was close enough.
I think it might have not been the singer. I think it might have been the notes you played were perfect.
Oh shit.
Burn.
I'm saying he's a good musician.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, enough of that. Bungle in the jungle.
I copyrighted the word "the." Anytime anybody says the word "the," they're going to pay me a royalty.
I don't know how singing is. Copyrights suck.
Yeah, especially the American style.
Yes, American
Or-
songs. Well,
I copyrighted the alphabet song. Now, time anybody uses any of the letters in it,
let's be clear though. The big problem was Napster, way back in the days.
No, that wasn't even the problem. The problem is that originally, the copyright law in America, I know this because I looked into it, I think, is that originally the copyright law was that any copyright would have 50 years. After that, it becomes public domain.
Yes.
Anyone can use it. But then suddenly there was this little thing called Mickey Mouse, who was about to get old in the 50s or so. Or was
This is also true.
Was it in somewhere in the 70s? And they decided, well, no. and a lot of money went into Washington.
And the fuckers, almost everything that they got big on was all royalty-free stories. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty,
Robin Hood.
I mean, even The Lion King. None of those are fucking original.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, Lion King is a ripoff of the
Hamlet.
of a different movie in China or
No,
Korea.
it's basically Hamlet. If you think about it.
No. But I mean,
But there is a movie that is exactly Lion
it's
King.
called Simba. There's a movie called Simba
All right.
that came out a year before The Lion King. That 2 years before, they literally copied it scene for scene. It doesn't matter.
It's
But as I
just-
said, the
Disney,
basic-
we love you. Please don't sue us.
Yeah, but as I said, the basic story of Lion King is Hamlet.
But anyways,
Yeah.
so music was fine, and then Napster came out, and then they're like, "Hey, dudes, Metallica and all you big bands that are out there right now, people are downloading your music for free." And Metallica's like, "Fuck no, man, that shit ain't cool. We want our millions because we're not like really.
We're not
punk
sticking
rock."
it to the man anymore.
Right
We
now,
are the
now
man.
we're the men. So lawsuits, Sony, a whole copyright, the internet versus the record company. And what ended up happening after that was like, fuck you guys. Thank you, record companies. You killed the industry. Now it's all about small releases and individuals, and it all sucks.
The ironic thing is the
Money,
people-
it fucks with everything.
Yeah, but the entire piracy was actually driven by the actual companies because they owned CNET, and that was the main place you went to download all the top copyright breaking programs of the day. And they gave you reviews, they gave you everything on how to do it. They also give you the macros that allowed you to get past the software.
Yep.
They also used examples of, oh, if you want Britney Spears' new album, this is how you do it. And they had, it was like something like
The
when they were doing
wild days of the
Silver.
internet.
Yeah.
When the
Well,
wild days
listen,
of the
listen.
internet, the early 90s, and now we're back.
early 90s to 2010. Then it started going downhill.
Yes. That's cool, man. I mean, we're living in that age where we get to experience. I'm just at the border pre-internet, post-internet.
Yeah, I just remember internet before. I just remember what life was like without internet there being a thing in household.
Yeah,
remember-
I used to have to buy Playboy back in those days. Go to the store and be like, going to the store.
What,
act
you
like
mean you
you're
weren't
buying
just like
Mad
the
magazine and stuff
15-year-old
in
just like
between?
taking the
At
magazine down and
least
just
back in the day, Playboy had some girls in their underwear or without them. But
Oddly enough, actually,
the last
legit-
Playboy I bought was more text than girl.
Playboy's
remember
always been that
playing
way.
Pong,
It's
you
actually been
youngsters.
80% like good articles and 20% naked girls. But
I mean,
there's naked girls. That's what made it big.
That's the old joke is I read it for the articles.
There's some. I actually did
actually.
read it for the articles. There's some really good shit there. I learned how to write from those.
Sure. If you
Anyway,
say so.
doesn't matter. I think that's enough banter. We're
Yep.
past. Let's do this.
Let's get the pandemic
Unbanter
off.
mode.
Oh, wrong button. Hi.
What happened? What?
And the screen got naked all of a sudden.
Ooh, naked
And he's
screen.
there.
All right.
I
Welcome
flashed
back.
a little.
The tabletop theater. Where we're gonna do a quick recap of where we were previously on Shards of Destiny. We find ourselves in Alexandria again. So many months have passed. Time works different here than it does in the Fey world. Stacy has been keeping herself busy mixing Alexandria's magics with the new
Fey magic.
Fey magic, technomancy, and coming up with creative devices that our heroes and adventurers have access to. Allura, Seer Allura, one of the top mages from the Archon Philosophica, comes in and requests of you. There's a spirit shard. deep in the jungle ruins of New Onua. And there, sorry, I should actually do it in an accent. And there, in the jungles of New Onua, there's a spirit shard. I need you to retrieve it. It's very important that we get it, and there's a time crunch. There are other parties looking for it. Because of this time crunch, I'm having you go with Chance. Chance is our new player, played by Blinky, who, well, is a master thief, master negotiator, can get in and get out quietly. Many treasures and lootings have been uh, had been put to his credit. No matter what he says, he's an excellent liar. Never believe anything he says because he definitely did steal it. He's been sent with you to infiltrate into the dungeons of New Noir. So, in order to protect it, he's got this little magical collar around him that does who knows what. So you went to New Noir and traversed down the river through the raft along with Riley. Yeah, Riley is your guide here. It is the dense jungles with me and Thor is a half orc. Big, green, very slow. They call me Dumbass Thor. A few days travel inward. A few days travel inward. You made a great noise to scare off the creatures, but in doing so attracted the attention of the natives of the land, the Houthis. These are the people that the Solarians. The Solarians are a mix of half reptile, half humanoid creatures that came out of the water, and some of them attacked and took Dor down underneath the water. Jericho saved them. Meanwhile, Chance and Feng banged off a few multiple attackers of the clan. However, a fog was cast by the shamans, the reptilian shamans, obscuring everything. Once the fog lifted, the shaman and his protector were gone, leaving you there in the river with a few other bodies floating around. A few of you guys bruised, hurt. And Riley says, they're gone for the moment, but they'll be back, and in greater numbers. And this is where we return back. Around you, the dense green forest, dense green jungle comes to life. The birds and the cicadas and the insects are starting to come back after the commotion of the battle that has just taken place. The constant stream, slow, steady, murky stream is moving along with carrying a few of these floating bodies of these half reptilian, half humanoid figures into the water. Zzz, mosquitoes in the air. Riley looks back at you all. That was a good fight.
Wasn't he unconscious for most of it?
Say again?
Wasn't he unconscious for most of it?
Yes, actually. No. He had woken up because he came up with that big kick-ass line. Anyways, what would you guys like to do?
Oh yeah, because he took a dart to the neck, didn't he?
Yeah. They're taking the dart with the neck, but then he's like, oh, right afterward he's recovered enough.
He was our most useful combatant.
That's what Doll's for here. Ain't that right, Doll? Yeah, I fight really well.
Yes, you
Not
did, Dor.
underwater.
As Dor splashes out of the water, picks up that the raft again, puts it back in place. It's still attached to it. All the gear is. Starts loading it back in place. Gets on top. Riley's with him too. A few of the reptilian. Riley goes over to one of the reptilian bodies, turns it over. starts searching for stuff and pulls out like a ceremonial curved dagger that has a nest pattern. Nice.
Cool.
Bet you this'll fetch a little bit of a loot.
Do
Puts
any
in
of
the bag
other,
and then just kicks.
Solarians have those?
Say what that?
Do any of the other Solarians have one of those?
Let's see. Why don't you roll me an investigation check? Does anybody want to assist?
I'm not wanting to assist. I'm wanting to do a perception area around.
Go ahead.
Jericho
didn't
is
find
gonna focus on drying himself up after being, soaked.
Damn.
So, Chance, what's happening is he kicks the body of this Solarian and it rolls into the river with a loud splash. The camera cuts 2, 3, or 4 of them going out of sight. The river is carrying off most of them. You grab onto one of them and look around to see what he has. He's got one of those blow darts.
Blow pipes.
Blow pipes, but no actual darts on him.
Oh, he's got a straw.
He's got a straw. You get meanwhile, Feng, the fog is still like lifting, and once it dissipates enough, from what you could see, it's just dense jungle. You don't have not even a clue where the two went. Even with hearing the animal noises just starting to come back.
Yeah.
Jericho gets out and perfect, fine. You're nice and dry now.
Excellent. Right. Are we quite done here? Can we continue the journey?
Can't hear them. Are either masking themselves or they're far away.
Yeah, they're probably going to be watching us this whole time, so be on the lookout for another ambush.
It's more likely they're masking themselves. It hasn't been that long since they created the fog.
Well, they probably know the surroundings better than we ever can hope to.
Yes, we have no clue what direction they went.
Keep playing. I just need.
Sure.
All right. Well, don't have any other options than to continue along the river.
Bang. Make them fall in the water. No, just kidding.
Riley, it's now your responsibility.
Right.
I'll try and keep any more darts from reaching your delicate neck.
I appreciate that. And I says, well, this time I'm gonna come prepared. And he reaches behind, tucked behind behind his trousers. He pulls out what you recognize as one of the firearms that are so prevalent in the Fey world, except that this is the modern version of here in Exandria of a pistol. It's a one-shotter, older style. It looks similar to what you would find in the like a pirate style cutlass. No, not cutlass. You know what I'm talking about? Those. Thank you, blunderbuss.
The cutlass is a sword. Yes.
Yes, it is. I can. That's what I'm like. That's not the right word at all. Anyways, don't worry. I've got this, and I'll be able. I got this to keep me protected. Come on, door, shove off. Okay.
I've got an advantage. You can't shoot one of those things into my neck because there's a collar blocking it.
The camera zooms in on your collar, and as it pans out, you guys continue out of frame. Cut to a few overhead shots of you traversing the stream, the river, around a couple of the bends, a few shots in between tree branches as the camera's point of view is like we could see what we could see behind. Somebody is definitely watching you as you go along. The day starts to darken. It's maybe starting to hit the afternoon. The sun is starting to set. for the next couple of hours. For the next couple of hours, there's nothing of interest happens except just continuing going. Ryan saying, "We should be close up now." You could almost hear the waterfall in the distance, and sure enough, you could hear like the water here is getting choppier, like rapids. In the far off distance, you could hear like the far away distant rumble of like a certain type of like a waterfall feeding this river itself. Door, pull over to the bank over here. This point forward, we have to go on foot. Okay. Pulls over to the bank, starts unloading some of the gear with Riley and Door tie off the boat. Door takes a whole big old pack of stuff and just loads it all on himself. And it starts leaning forward. Riley's like, "All right, follow me this way, gentlemen." He's gonna do Riley is going to do a survival check. Second.
Allow me to assist.
Oh, in fact, why don't you roll me one with advantage then?
What? Didn't need
Because I
it.
don't have that. Oh, there you go. I think we go, and you point out, no. I think I hear the waterfall this way. Yeah. That's what I meant. We go that way. And Dora's still like taking the with the lead with like a big old broadsword, just cutting through vines after vines with a big old pack, full of gear.
That's not
Behind
very
them.
stealthy.
That's when like Feng just puts a hand and says, "Be any louder."
I
Don't
think he'll
worry
take that as a
about it.
challenge.
Don't worry about it. We're getting close. The serial neck where we're coming up to is sacred. And these Solarians here don't really venture up this way. I think we'll be fine. Besides, now that we're away from the river, they're on less equal ground. And as he's saying that, Thor chops through one last things of vine, and now a burst of sunlight passes through. A warm smell of like warm mist hits as well, and the loud thunderous roars in the pass through. It's almost like a curtain of vines was split open, and behind it revealing, basically this in the background.
I was wondering if that's what you were referring to.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's behind.
It's behind me.
We just have to chop through his head and we can see it.
The area ahead of you is you can clearly see the cliff and the waterfalls coming down, leading into like what seems to be a large lagoon or a lake at the bottom of very, very sharp rocks. In fact, it almost looks like the bottom two big fangs coming out of the water. And as you look up, you could see that indeed there's a whole motif of snake, like almost a cobra head happening where it's like a jaws are wide open with two fangs and the water's just going straight down on one of them to it carved into the cliff walls themselves with what looks to be like the hood of the cobra as well as the eyes, except it's all not maintained at all. It's all covered by branches and greenery and vines all over, giving it an ancient look as if the land has taken this over a couple of millennia. As we approach, Riley says, "All right, there you go. That's your entrance up there, right? Almost at the base of where the waterfall starts. Halfway down, there's like a secret area, an alcove. I brought the last explorer over here, Professor Croft. She wasn't able to get through.
Laura.
Yeah, Laura Croft. She's one of the best. She didn't have the magic means to get inside, so that's why you're needed here.
What?
Anyway, so that's what you are here for. Get up there, figure out how to open the door, get in. I'll get you out of here.
At least we don't have to worry about Professor Jones.
Yes. Professor Moriarty. This isn't Reichenbach Falls? Okay, good.
Oh,
Reichenbach Falls. I don't know that reference.
Sherlock
Holmes.
Oh, okay, because Moriarty. All right.
That's where Sherlock Holmes dies.
Yes.
In theory.
If anyone complains about spoilers, it's been 100 years, folks. Get over it.
Spoilers!
I've actually read some of his works.
Spoilers!
His first book was meh. Afterward, the second and third book were pretty good.
I think I've read Hound of the Baskervilles, which was a later book.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yep.
The first one, not so much. We'll talk about it later.
What's the?
All right.
Is that A Study in Pink, isn't it?
That one's really good too. Yes.
Oh,
No, it's a different. Actually, it might have been a Sitting Pink. Anyways, back to this.
Yeah, sure.
I was about to start chopping up fingers.
The camera finishes its visual exposition of like a road along the flanks leading close to where the hood of the Cobra is. There's so it seems to be a trail that could kind of lead to the waterfall section. The panorama behind where the lagoon is set, running into this feeding this river that starts becoming like rapids again.
Can we see through the waterfall to where the cave or whatever it is?
Make an investigation or a perception check. You have those special goggles, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So as soon as right now all you see is camera zooms into a shroud of water, then cut to you lowering your things, or then visual reference of the same cinematic effect happening in front, revealing behind the waterfall. There is indeed like what looks to be a circular
Opening?
Yes.
Cave?
Could be, and it's almost too circular. It's hard to tell because it's very much covered in vines and things like that, but your goggles still allow to see like a basic outline of it behind it. In fact, from this distance, you'll have to get a lot closer to get a better sense of it, but there's definitely something there.
Is there anything that looks grappleable?
There's tons of vines.
And a couple of douchebags around you.
Sorry, a couple, along here and here, there's a couple of vines and trees. You could even possibly, although it probably might be harder, go from stone to stone to stone to stone to stone to stone. But there's an easy pathway behind that goes. This is so hard to do. There you go. It goes from here to here. Behind the tree and behind all this foliage, there would be like a pathway.
But that's the easy way.
It also looks like it's not fully there because it's a lot of it crumbled away or washed around. You could see where visually scanned that there's an actual gap that you guys would have to jump over or something. You're muted. Feng, you're muted.
I was burping. I turned it off there. So let's make it easy. Take the obvious route up.
Take the what route up?
The obvious route.
Oh.
Right. Well, you have fun, boys. I'll be setting up camp over here waiting for you to get out. If you're not back in 3 days, I'm leaving without you.
Why is he rowing even though we're not in the water?
He's bad workmanship. He's setting up stuff in the camp. He's putting like offloading gear, blankets.
He's digging a fire pit.
There you go.
This is when I look and I notice there's been 2 other previous fire pits dug up with disturbed earth.
That's actually accurate. In fact, from another inspection, you could see where there's remnants of previous camp here. There's trash, detritus, and even in the far corner, like a piece of cloth or ribbon.
Hodor's not coming with us, I presume.
No, Thor, stay here. Our job is just to bring you, not to fight or to go in.
Okay. If we toss something down, you can fight it.
Maybe. If Riley says it's okay, then okay.
Good.
So you start working your way off to the side. The sun is starting close to sunset. Not quite there yet. It getting here in the if it starts getting dark, this will be a lot more difficult. So time is of an essence here, as you move up the take the easy route and just climb up. Eventually, you get to that spot that I mentioned where there's at least a 15-foot gap from this. What you could see was clearly man-made or creature-made comfortable walking area with even like not so much steps, but almost like slither spots. However, here there's a section 15 foot where rocks or something or this natural cliff has broken off, and there you're gonna need to figure out a way to get from one side to the other.
How about hammering pittons into the wall, the side of the mountain, whatever, and
Perfect.
using a rope to get across?
Perfect. That sounds like a fantastic way to do it. Roll me a d20 with that. Actually, no. What do you have on it? What's a good?
Athletics or
Animal
acrobatics?
handling. No.
Dungeoneering. Do you have like
Dungeoneering.
No.
You have spelunking.
You have spelunking. That's exactly it.
I don't think that's a normal skill that would happen here.
I'm kidding with you. Give me 1 second. No, I have it open right here. Give me a.
He's jumping. No, that's not right. I don't think we want to do the jumping bit of that.
Yeah, give me an athletics or acrobatics, your choice, with advantage. 22, perfect. Easily able to set it up. You're able to, in fact, you are able to climb up like certain spots in the rock so that at halfway point you're able to like cling onto with your legs, and you hang upside down and just like clink, 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 clink. Put a rope down, and then easily you work yourself. Once it's hammered in place, you're halfway in between, and you swing yourself, and you could easily reach one side to swing to the other, giving everybody access.
You're welcome.
You make
Good
your
thing,
way.
Good thing Dor didn't come along.
Cut. You look back, cut to Dor and them. They're just still setting up camp. Dor is busy setting up camp. Riley is sitting, basking in the sun, shirt open. He's got one.
He's got mirrors up.
Yes.
One of those mirror things to get this, like a tan himself.
One of those mirror things to get a tan. Meanwhile, Dor is like working up a sweat, trying to load and move boxes from one spot to the other. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
You make yourself go up the remaining portion of the cliff. Yeah. There's a few spots where it gets close, where you only have a few feet to traverse, so you have to do a little hop. The camera zooms in as you guys hop from one section to the other. The sun is starting to come down a little bit more. Just a few of the last few rays are hidden there, and you reach the loud, thunderous waterfalls hidden, and you see that ledge where you could literally walk behind. In front of you, and you would be right about here, and you could see that area all around there. It's almost like a ledge, opening that has all this like tree branches and moss covering up a big section of this. Large overgrowth blocking what seems to be behind a carved, perfectly like a carved wheel with bas relief into it. And it's definitely looks wheel-ish because it's flat, minus the base relief. And there's it's a completely different color than the surrounding cliff. It's more like a softer white and lime than the surrounding dirt and brownish.
I've
But
seen this.
that's
movie
only from what you
before.
could see because a lot of this area is blocked off.
Guessing it's a round door that rolls out of the way.
You can see where there was somebody had previously like hacked off a few of the vines and things to get access to it.
And what part of the wheel did they get? The sort of door wheel?
Only about 20% of it is visible at the moment. If you can imagine
Okay.
that, only about 20% of it is visible. From the visible that you can see is a different color. There's a little bit of bas relief second to it. Everything else is overgrown by ivy, weeds, and branches.
Do
and
we
mud,
notice
lots of
any
mud.
bodies lying around?
Absolutely no. This would
Okay.
be an obvious.
So they
thing.
must
There's
have gotten through this because they didn't just die here trying to get the wheel or the door open. Okay, good to know. And we know what area they worked on.
Well, since you're all there, if you want to do perceptions or investigations checks to find out more. A mythril shield is a mirror thing. In the comments.
25. 20. Okay, we're perceiving good. Oh, he's investigating.
Yeah, either or.
I am an investigator after all.
With Chance, you with your special goggles, you could see it almost looks like a X-ray effect where whatever tree branches and vines is very translucent, but behind is you could see the solid door and bas relief. It there looks to be like in the very center of it, they're obscured by something. There is a gap that looks like this in the very center of it. Besides that, there's like a snake and a monster motif around it. Everything is very curvy and snakehead and fang motif of bas relief carved throughout.
Okay, guys, there's a hole in the middle. It's a donut.
How big's the hole?
About the size of a fist.
All right. So,
Yeah, I knew this was coming. You put your hand in and grabs it with the bites down with fangs. Yeah.
But that's still covered up by the
Okay.
that's still covered up by a lot of the branches and stuff. This is only what your infrared eyes are allowing you to see.
How did the last group get through?
Meanwhile, Jericho, you noticed that there was an attempt of hacking and slashing around the edges. That part has grown back again. You could easily just take it, reveal it, where Dr. or Professor Croft had maybe tried to cut around to reveal where the cliff becomes the door. And also, you notice that besides that, there's another sort of damage scratches into the actual stone itself at a different spot, like somebody had tried to force their way in previously. Oh, and you find that there's underneath it, on the bottom of it, sort of like channels or overgrown. There's an overgrowth underneath if you can imagine like a circle with two little channels on the sides of it where water would go in. That is completely overgrown as well. That's an interesting thing that you find with your investigation. Underneath there's like two channels where water would normally flow into this area that has been completely blocked off by nature.
But that would be something. Go see.
So Riley, cut to Riley screaming up. You found anything yet, fellas?
Yeah, sure.
No need to scream.
Huh. Well,
goes back to.
Jericho is going to start seeing what happens if he clears out these two drains.
Let's see
Don't,
how long it takes you. Again, sunset's starting
we
to.
don't want to get drowned.
Why don't you? How would you like to clear these out?
With good old elbow grease.
Acrobatics or athletics? Athletics in that case. Fantastic. You're able to with your brute strength.
So just put in a blade and start pulling stuff out.
Yeah, in fact, you just put it in, you just kind of slice it in and then just yank on it, and the blade itself cuts through all these vines, and you're making really good work of it. Cut to like a few minutes passes by. Just literally a few minutes passes by, now revealing 85% of the entire stone thing. There's only a few spots now that are exposed still with moss or leaves, but more than enough is for you to be able to see inside. And you've exposed even the areas where now water was blocked in. You can see kind of like a little sort of gate effect made out of stone, where with all these little roots and moss have come out, and you've dug your finger into them, and water is now starting to slowly flow into it on the bottom part.
Can I like we're slightly indented, right? To where this
Yes.
wheel and everything is. I'm gonna put some pythons, whatever they're called, onto the side walls and tie a rope to them, so in case something tries to shove us out, we can grab onto it and not fall down.
Done and done.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried about getting a gush of water blowing us away. But
Yeah, Feng's probably just coughing up on the dust and the debris that's being disturbed by Jericho hacking away.
Well, because of the wetness, it's more like clinging onto you. It's just like, you know how, imagine like if you ever seen a lawnmower that spits out all
Yeah.
the grass, imagine wet grass just sticking all on you.
just shake off the clothes.
In fact, you put your head up to the actual waterfall, and the immense pressure of it just splashes off you, and in like literally 1 second of just exposing your head, the entire body of yours is rinsed off. The camera cuts to once again slowly zooming in, revealing that area with a fist in it. You could see now that it doesn't go too far deep. It's almost like there's something should go into it.
So it might be.
Why don't you roll
key
me?
somewhere.
Why don't you guys roll me an intelligence or an intelligence or arcana or a religion check? Holy shit.
I think Feng's just going to walk up to the.
Don't put your hand in it.
He's
Blinky,
gonna reach his hand out.
sorry, Chance looks into it a little bit, and meanwhile, Feng, you're doing what now?
Feng's just going to walk up to it and he's mucking about.
Yeah. Hold up. Let me take a look inside first. Like, what's the equivalent of check for traps?
Is literally investigation.
Oh, 20.
Natural 20. You with a little bit of, again, the sunset is starting to fade out, and the rays of light are penetrating through the waterfall.
I don't need the light.
Almost like going through this, but it's illuminating for the
Hmm.
camera. The camera
okay.
goes in, and you can see now that past a little bit of muck and you like doing this to it. It's just a stone thing, and it now upon further inspection, it's almost like a hexagon shape, and it has a back to it. It only goes in maybe 4-5 inches deep before it hits another piece of stone that has what seems to be a carved arcane symbology to it. You would reckon this type of thing, it's not so much as a trap as it's waiting for something to go there.
So it's a
And with your
keyhole.
intelligence memory, flashback to the previous battle that you had, and the shaman had a carrying stick, and on
Yeah.
it was a very big, glowing, very, very, very big moonstone, about the size of a fist, that was glowing bright white.
So we
And
need
that
a
that that
shaman's moonstone is the key, and this is the lock.
So you're saying it is a lock, and you are an expert in disarming locks, was it?
I could try that, yes. But yes, I could try and pick it, but I'm not sure it will take something. Okay, I'm gonna try and find something that is approximately the right shape.
there's a few rocks that
Yeah.
if you crack them just right,
Yeah, that's what I'm
it'll.
gonna try and. This is my attempt at figuring out how I would actually do this.
He's making his version of a bump key here.
Yes, exactly. But I don't know what that is.
We're
I'm
going
basically
to roll this. Go ahead.
I'm
I know what you want
basically
to do.
trying to create something that will fit the lock and
Roll me
pick it.
either a thieves' tools or a forgery kit.
Ooh, I rolled bad. 13.
13. You get just about the right shape. You're able to crack it in just the right spots. It's very hexagonal, not a perfect hexagonal, but like you trying to stick in a square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
First couple tries, it doesn't quite fit right until you
Sorry.
rotate a few, and then click, click, it's in. You manage to pass the thing in. It's a fit.
Now,
Store remains unmoved.
Well, you probably are going to need a moonstone for it, so I pick up a moonstone from a pocket and, if you don't mind, step in and use my own thieves' tools to adjust the moonstone, analyze the arcane mark on the other side, and tune the frequency of the moonstone to match, and try it again.
Would you like to roll Arcana or Thieves' Tool with advantage? Or Arcana with advantage or Thieves' Tool with advantage with Chance's help? If you want to
Thieves'
help
Tool.
them between the two of you.
I'll help him. Oh, sure, no problem.
Thieves' Tool. Yes. With that,
27. Oh.
the second you start, like, you disassemble your a couple of devices. You have a few spare walkie talkies that you usually remember. Either you have newer, longer range walkie talkies with you.
Yeah, I packed
And you-
extra batteries for the rocket talkies.
Yes, and it's exactly one of these moonstones. Which, again, for the audience, moonstones, they look like those little crystals that you get at the fair. They come in sizes small to big, and they literally just charge with lunar energy. You set them out at night, it collects lunar energy, and they're lunar batteries. You use them to charge up a lot of the magical items, and they glow by themselves.
There's
Glow
one
in the
other way
dark.
to charge them.
As you start
stick them in your
getting it
bum.
close to there, those little runes that you
Moonstone.
saw start turning greenish, and start kind of like reacting with the glow to it, and through fussing around the certain combination of like illuminating them all at the same time. A couple of times you have to, okay, well, one's good, let's try another one, a third one, and then all of a sudden you hear a as the stone starts shifting from one side to the other side, and it starts like rotating. Dust and mud and other leaves and detritus starts falling
And a
down.
huge wave of water pushing out.
Actually, the other way around. A lot of the what had previously felt like water constantly at your guys' feet, it passes like the little channels fill up with the water and go into the area. And as soon as the door opening opens,
It's
As soon as the
downhill,
door
so the
opening
water flows
opens,
that
the
way.
water fully goes in there, and it hits little by little. In the far distance, nice and dark, but in the far, after about a few 5-10 feet of it, nothing but a black opening. There's starting to be like glow, 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 glow. But for right now, the circle is open, and revealed in front of you seems to be like a rotund humanoid statue with like a on one side of it is like a facing you seems to be like a the cobra head, like a statue with a cobra head, humanoid, fattish, facing from. That's the only thing that the sunlight is starting to hit, and the last beams of sunlight start disappearing, and then full on darkness, minus the glow that's starting to appear wherever the water was coming down the channels. Starts to hitting like a certain type of moss that starts glowing bluish, yellowish, and greenish, illuminating the way. Pause for 1 second while I do this. What would you guys like to do?
Head on down.
The road, head on down the road.
Down the road 66.
Unfortunately,
This
it's
is the
lit,
new.
which is the problem.
This is what's revealed to you inside the opening, the waterway,
Wow.
and in the very dead center, there's like a.
A
And somebody's
walkway.
shoulder is in the corner. Yeah.
I think we can shoulder it a bit.
It's armless.
Yeah.
you start.
You can shrug it off.
You start walking in, and the only lights that's finally, with the sun starting to finally come down, the only other light seems from inside seems to be where the water's hitting and hitting these like certain moss section, and inside of this cavern system, it's definitely man-made. That bas relief, hand carved feel is everywhere here, and there's different sort of monsters and snake motifs. A few faces looking out with like big wide eyes, open mouths. And it's remarkably wet and humid in here and very lush and green still. But now the new trickle of water is starting to come in. It's brand new. These channels on the left side and the right side are for the first time seem to have been filling up again with water. And that's causing a lot of the new illumination as new things, new mosses are showing up. This continues for a good 10-15 feet before you start noticing that there's a section that you could go off to the left or go off to the right.
Look
Bang,
down
calling
both
me.
ways.
Bang, you're muted again.
Look down both
No.
ways, 60 feet or so, because I don't.
No,
really
you're
need
not
the light
muted
anyway.
here. I can hear you.
Quiet.
Yeah.
I'll just say Feng will just pull out his quarterstaff. Yes.
Right. Chance looks to the left, looks to the right. Got a visual of 60 feet. Show me give me a perception or an investigation.
Can I investigate his perception?
Yes.
You can perceive my investigation now. That's
If you want to roll as well on this, sure.
Yeah, just gonna look around.
From your point of view, you look to the left and you could see about 10-15 feet, Jericho. From you like glance 10-15 feet. It seems to be the stone thing, and then the light starts to disappear. Meanwhile, Chance lowers his glasses again. His point of view further extends, like almost like a magical green effect, illuminating further down 15-20 feet on the left. After about 40-50 feet or so, there is a section where rocks have crumbled in. Look over to the right, and it continues on, and eventually makes another curve.
There's a cave in down on the left about 40, 50 feet down, but the right way seems to be open.
Yeah. So what Thing's gonna do is he's gonna start taking his quarterstaff, and he's gonna be using it as he's moving forward to kind of probe for, kind of pressure, any sort of. He's heard stories about these sort of places having pressure traps on the floor.
So you're
So-
trying to set them off?
Yes.
Roll me a investigation. Also, for the record, I like to go by the Wookiee rule. That means what one of you knows, everybody knows. So if I explain,
As long
the
as we're
situ-
together, I presume.
yeah, so you don't have to
Yeah.
like reiterate my words because the audience knows
Okay.
and you are the audience, unless you say, I keep that information to myself for dramatic purposes.
I keep this information to myself. I will forget it.
Feng starts
Rowing down the
starts with your stick, you start pushing, clocking forward, ding,
yeah.
ding. Maybe 15 feet in,
Yeah.
you hit something and then you hear a and
Mm.
right against the quarterstaff, dribbling there is one of those darts, except that it's really ancient looking. It looks made out of stone. It's very thin, and as you pull it out and look at it, the barb tip has a blackish
Resin.
oil
Oh.
resin type situation, and
Hmm.
you toss it, tink 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 tink, and you could see more of those along the side where more of them have been triggered.
Traps.
Yes.
Lick
We have
it.
the orc investigating traps.
You
Chance you can go forward. This is
Um,
your area of expertise.
Do the where the dart came from? Presumably, there's a hole there. Are there other holes at that same height?
roll me a perception investigation.
There's holes, right?
I'm gonna give it with advantage since you literally know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
As you zoom in the camera, you're looking, brushing apart like vines through this bas relief type carvings,
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of these monsters have their faces open, faces like the eyes or the
Yes.
mouths or the nostrils. You look close, you stick your finger into one of the nostrils, and you could clearly see that that's where these are coming from. You move the camera pans this way to reveal the rest of the wall. The rest of the wall is all bas relief of these monsters with eyes and mouths and nostrils.
Are they all at about the same height, though?
They're all at different heights.
Okay, so there's no. We can't just like crawl along the ground.
The first few that you investigated, the first few that you see, who knows?
Are they on both sides of the walls or on just one
Yes.
side? Okay.
They're both sides.
I only have
Looking
one
up,
shield.
There's nothing on the top.
We have a large ball we can roll down.
Well, looking what's interesting is wherever you click your thing, you could see that something definitely did depress,
Yeah.
and it's a stone pattern that you could with I mean this time with you rolling me I don't know what.
Remember, Jehovah starts with an I.
in the Latin, yes. In the ancient
With
Latin.
you're able to point out, because with Feng's good roll on this, you're able to recognize that, okay, these specific oddly shaped squares are definitely probably the ones that we should probably avoid. And you can either you'll have to, a lot of you will have to carefully maneuver through here,
or we can just set off all the ones at a
I don't
distance.
know, man. Up to you guys.
Because
Talking about-
using fangs poke the
Mhm.
poke the bad ones trick. Oh, when he depressed it, did it pop back up as if it was reloading?
Uh,
So Feng
there's only one way to find out.
Well, no. Did we see it pop back up, or is it
So
still
did it
depressed?
stay depressed, or did it find joy back in its life and got up?
What Feng will
found
do
itself
is he's
back
going
up.
to depress the same
So-
tile again just
Yeah.
to see if it
This
fires
time,
up.
whereas previously the dart had come to you from the right, you hear, and it comes from the other side this time.
And does it go back up again?
Yes.
And if he
You get
depresses it again,
with a little like a careful. Now that you know what to look out for, you could hear like the sound of stone grinding onto stone.
if he presses it a third time, does another dart come out,
Who
or
knows?
goes
Chance,
empty?
you can borrow my quarterstaff and try it.
Okay.
It sounds a lot like these keep on recharging.
You hit it. You hit it again, and it depresses a second time, and then you hear
A third time.
a third time, and it hits. It comes from a different bottom right angle, and hits maybe about knee height this time. But this time, because the
Okay.
staff is not there, it goes somewhere slightly different, and it bounces
hear
off
the
of the. You hear a ching 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 ching.
Okay. So it's a repeating wall gun. Yeah, okay. Let's just avoid the ones that depress. That seems to be the only way we're getting through this. We can't make it use all its ammo.
And we can't let it down.
Gets its point across every time.
Cut to you guys
Let's
maneuvering.
dart our way through.
Well, with that, let's do this with a challenge. Roll me. You guys definitely know what you're looking for. Roll me dexterity or a dexterity saving throw with advantage. Not
This is when you want like a
acrobatics or perception if you want to be very careful about where you're stepping. For some of you,
These are all
Acrobatics to
exactly the same bonuses for me. Dex.
all of you with
acrobatics.
advantage because you guys know what to look out for.
Can I persuade the system not to shoot at me?
Oh, doesn't
Oh.
listen.
It doesn't listen to reason. No. Well,
I don't know which one of these to press. They're all the same.
You could, you might, if you want, might be able to use something different. But you got to tell me, Jericho, how you get across.
I am actually going to use my
Follow my
smarts on
footsteps.
this.
Follow my
smarts?
footsteps.
I'm gonna use the smarts, and I'm going to investigate each and every step I'm taking, like scanning the ground. Okay, if I step there, I step there, I step there, and no, that's gonna force me to step the other way there, there.
All right. So because you're doing this slower, Chance and Feng roll first.
Okay.
yeah, I'm going to just do a straight up acrobatics. I am
Slightly.
just
I'm gonna do the don't remember the movie, but with the laser beams and going slide
Oh, no,
under.
no, I'm going to Jackie Chan this. I am
Ooh.
literally what I'm going to do. How wide is the corridor?
It's about the corridor is about 15, 20 feet. You wouldn't be able to go from wall to wall though.
Damn. Right. Yeah.
Just follow
however,
my
there's a
footsteps,
few-
guys. Follow my footsteps.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in heavy armor. I'm not gonna be able to follow your steps.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Is a balance thing.
Yeah. I'm just going to do acrobatics. I'm going to be ducking and diving and running. There.
Sure, absolutely, with advantage. Natural 20.
Yeah, hover your
Perfectly.
way
I
through.
mean, not only did you see where Chance stepped, but kind of like to show off a little bit more, you perfectly step in specs, except that you don't make a sound whenever you touch because your shoes, your cut to your sneakers, whoosh, magical.
Copyright.
Nah, fuck them.
Jaguar shoes. These are Jaguars. Genuine Jaguars.
Feel free to sponsor us, or Adidas. Who cares? We'll make a race of it. Whoever sponsors us first.
Reebok, Adidas, Nike, you're up.
Puma too, maybe. All right.
New Balance.
Anywho,
New Balance.
Slazenger, Ray Perry.
you guys make it across a whole like 30, 40-foot section. Before meanwhile, Jericho's slowly moving little by little. Do me your roll.
Yeah, goes everything.
This
Where
is
did I
when
put
we
it?
find out on YouTube this one will get demonetized
16.
by one of the sports companies because we mentioned
16 is
their
enough.
name.
Halfway doing it, you almost like stumble and hit one or step on one, but you don't. 3/4 of the way through, you feel like you misstep and you know that you misstep, so you immediately start moving forward at the last pace, and you hear the as the last 3 of them miss you while you move the last 7 or 8 feet.
Well, 2 of them hit my shield.
Yes, absolutely.
Ding, ding.
I was thinking if you're wearing metal armor, they're probably just going to bounce off anyway.
But you don't want them to hit deep enough. They might actually penetrate some of the chains because I'm wearing a
Oh, it's
chainmail.
chain. Oh, okay. I
Yes.
thought it was plate armor. Okay.
Yeah, I
you
would
get-
like to have a plate armor, but the GM never gave me the funds for it.
No,
Even if you have plate armor, you still got
it's a balance thing.
you still got bits of the body where it's not plated. There's like for you to bend your arm and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And
Yeah,
bend
but
your
there's
body.
plates around
It's hard to be a coppa.
to
It's hard
Yeah.
to be a police officer when you're wearing nothing but plated armor.
Yeah, if
Only,
I was
only
wearing
special
plate,
SWAT.
Hold up.
if I was wearing plate armor, I would have just walked through that. It's like, yeah, just ding, 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 ding. Oh, it's
30,
raining, I hear.
20 or 40, 20 or 40 feet. So this past the section, you can see those stones are starting to normalize or be very much further apart. There's a thing on, around the corner, this starts in a bend. You see a, something of interest there, sort of like a crumbled mass 15 feet away. You couldn't have seen it while you were moving there, but now that you're getting closer and everything's starting to like make a bend, you see a along the ground like a crumpled of dirty old rags and bones. As you approach it, what seems to be the remnants of a previous explorer that is still like seems to be outstretched, crawling now. There's a couple of holes still left over on the clothing.
What color's the cloth?
It's because everything here right now is a sort of greenish or bluish hint to it. You probably guess could be brownish or gray. It's dark. It's also very stained. There's a big old copper stain, a brownish dark stain on it, and moss and other detritus has been covered up on it. It's down to its bones, so you could figure that it's been here for a long bit. However, you see like a
probably not Croft then.
no.
Yeah.
Croft came back. That's how you know that he's Allura was the one that told you that Croft is the one that found this here. This is information that you know. Let's see. However, seems to be like one ostrich hand, and we're following the same pathway. The camera like zooms up and shows the floor, reveal, then to the wall, then zooming into what seems to be a sort of another one of those
Moonstone holes.
Yes, exactly correct. And
Well,
it's just up against the wall. Past that, you see like an open portcullis that's dark.
well, we still have the makeshift key. Perhaps it works for this one too.
As you sleight of hand.
Chance. It's your
Let me
chance.
do it. Let me do it. That's my best. Woohoo. And I rolled really crappy.
With 17, it's good enough. You're able now. You're with it. Like the second you put it in, you can start seeing the little bit of glow happening from the moonstones, and you hear a click. And then back behind you hear a click, 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 as like certain stones go into shape. go into a spot, and you that's all that sound that was behind you, and that's the only thing that happens. Oh, and the what seems to be like another one of those little wall thing, another one of those stone, darkened stone things. You hear that and all as well go and shift open like this, revealing, and more water rushes through. Fresh water rushes through again, and illuminating some more moss and the area around.
We either deactivated all those traps or reset them behind
Well,
us.
since they were resetting anyway,
Maybe we probably deactivated them.
likely.
One of you
Fun.
now. Do you have access to the big map?
You can show us. Oh, you mean on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. I can give the audience the look of the big map.
Yeah, this is what you seem. This is what you
Ooh.
walk in on. As you come upon this place, there's water going around through all of the outside sections. All right. There's water going around through the outside sections, illuminating close to the wall. There's like a little bit of a channel, about maybe a foot or so channel where water could traverse. It's lighting up some more of this moss, giving up this iridescent feeling up the walls, illuminating some more of this bas relief stonework. The really here, a lot of the floor, it's still there's a constant drip, 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 drip.
Ooh, you're good at that.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
As it's like landing in different spots, feeding all of this trees and moss, and the ground is covered with greenery, but there's tiles in these two patterns. To the north, would be another one of those portcullises. Seems to be blocked off by cave-in. To the south, it seems to the south, there seems to be another one of those doors held. One of those doors that's blocked off by another stone, and something something leading up to it.
What the hell is that red thing in the bottom?
Well, why don't you
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
In the box.
roll me a perception or investigation? Feng, why aren't you showing to everybody?
I see Feng.
No, the glow is not showing to. Oh, there we go.
The thing is
Control-
showing the glow, but it's the chance that
Controlled
is not
by.
showing the glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
glow.
meant. Chance.
I have a glow. Purple.
Yeah, only you can see it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Only me.
You need to put it to everyone.
I'll do it. I think I have to give him control to everybody.
Yeah.
Edited, controlled by all players.
Still not glowing.
Takes a while,
Oh,
I think.
well, screw it. Sadness.
I'm so
Just give
I'm
me
so
a
small you
second.
can't see my glow.
There.
Ah,
Wow,
there
now
it is.
now I have a giant glow.
Because it was set to 1 foot height, his actual token would have been covering it.
Let's see if we can change that.
1 foot. 1 foot is where it needs to be. Yeah, 1 foot. Perfect.
That's 5 feet, but okay.
Yeah, I've changed it. It's good. Don't touch it.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So yeah, why don't you move? Let's actually, I could just move all of you as you start moving in and investigating the location. There is something down there. Do you want to approach it slowly, carefully? What do you want to do?
Very careful.
Go over there so that the camera can stack
Slowly
as well.
and carefully, yeah.
Oh, that's not what I was referring to, but okay. I was worried about the red thing on the bottom right corner.
Oh, that's That's for later. That the audience doesn't see that.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
That's behind the scenes. That's a curtain. That's a look behind the curtains.
Okay.
Don't look
If,
behind the
We're a
curtains.
red
if you
thing,
move,
like-
move
Oh,
those things.
you're in the camera shot. Get out the camera shot.
Yes.
Cut.
What was
Cut.
War,
How dare you?
War Without End, where the guy with the jeans and the boom mic were sitting off on a crate in the background in one of the scenes.
And this is where we take our break because we need to get our interns in the check.
Not quite there. Close to it though.
Okay.
So coming up here, you see the in front there is another, what appears to be another a body of a, I mean it's bones, half of the person, the top half just bones and a shirt and weapons and detritus scattered around the area. In fact, let me draw up to it. What you see in the bottom, what looks to be that circle-ish area, like the white star, is it seems to be like an explosion, a depression into the ground where it looks like something exploded and cracked the ground and threw rocks and tiles and everything everywhere. It's definitely an explosive explosion type fragments.
Crater.
Yes, crater. And around it too is black streaks,
Scorch
and
marks?
lots of what looks like glitter or stardust or something. Finally,
I'm gonna
mispowdered
guess. I'm gonna guess that this guy had his collar around his waist instead of his head, and he set it off.
Yes,
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to analyze this with my Arcana skill to find out if I know a spell that does this sort of damage.
Absolutely.
That's 11.
11.
Big boom.
Unknown. This is unlike anything you've seen. In fact, you've seen scorch marks from a fireball. This is not that. You'd have different type of scorch marks. These marks along the ground look like streaks of like a raw magic escaping in a star pattern. It did create a sort of weird sort of sigil and ground into the ground as well as the crater. Ancient symbol that you've not ever seen before. And what's really interesting is all this little stuff around that's shiny. You examine it a little bit closer. It appears to be a sort of glass.
I was about to ask.
Does it look like this was set off by some sort of a trap, or was it just something blew up and cut this guy in half?
Unknown. And
This-
you can investigate some more.
This has the appearances of a hobo.
Oh, double
It's-
natural 20s. Give me the life story of this explosion.
It from this explosion, you could almost get the sense that it was carrying something. By the angle of where he was, or he's like you investigate that over here on the other part of the wall, you could see the other half of them.
Yeah,
It seems
what?
like
Can you
in your
paint it
mind
on the map?
you're replaying. So cut to the camera's point of view. Here's this ghostly figure running from. I'm going to draw an arrow so the audience can see it freehand. So in the camera's point of view, here's like a ghostly figure running from that area, looking behind them, carrying something, a glowing something in his hand, and then trip, fall, it glowing, moving, hitting the ground, white flash, cut to right now here. And you're like, and you think to yourself, he was running, carrying something, it dropped and exploded.
And literally cut him in half.
Yes. And it came from the direction where I'm pointing at with the doors, which the direction where it's pointing at, there's an opening there,
Here?
but it also is covered up with one of those stones
Here?
that you've seen. Yes, correct.
I'm going to examine what's left of the body.
Do it. Investigation.
Poorly.
13. There's a few coins. They're actually, you recognize these coins. They're not too old. They're probably used in the last couple centuries. It's at least a couple centuries old by the coins. They're gold coins. They're not fully rusted and pitted, and they have a symbol of the king Ernesto, which
So,
hasn't been around for at least 200
so
years.
we can rule.
Okay, guys, there's no coins on this body. Let me see if there's anything else.
A dagger. You find like an explorer. You find like a duffel bag, explorer's type kit, or
Mhm.
something that has a whole bunch of rotted and rusted, melted together things. Whatever was here is got fused together.
Hmm.
Other than that, nothing of interest. Oh, and
Just
definitely
general-
like artifacts of like there's like a golden bronze thing that's a golden bronze thing. Oh, and you find something of very specific interest. A ceremonial golden dagger with jewels in it that is in still perfect condition.
And he has this
But
old
that's
dagger,
that's what's like embedded with the like within all
Yeah.
the stuff within the rustle back. So it's like all these
Okay.
other things melted on top of it, and it's just there like the dagger within the metal stone.
Yeah.
To be pulled out.
in the stone. Whoever pulls this dagger from this stone will have a pointy object in their hand.
Well, that if that survived, it is likely a magical item.
Seems likely.
You could add that to your inventory.
Can I take a look at it? I'm no wizard, but I've seen my share of magical weapons in the hands of ruffians.
Arcana.
Yep. 10.
It has a snake motif. It's got some carvings that are very similar to like the rune that you see underneath. It's strange, odd, unlike any of the runes that you've seen before. Whereas you're used to writing as you can't recognize, you can't read like German or Russian or Muslim or but you were like, okay, I could see that these are words. This is like hieroglyphics. You're like, I
This
have
is
no idea.
clearly writing. I just don't know what language. I may have a slight clue with language, but it's definitely not when I speak. Or
Beautiful, beautiful ceremonial. You've sensed a strong aura on there, and it has a sort of dark aura to it as well.
Thick, pointy end in bad people.
Actually, it might also be stick pointy end in the ritual sacrifice.
That too. More likely.
Either
So-
way, I believe it is used to drain lives out of things.
Ooh.
Just making sure chances not holding this.
You carefully bundle it into your bag of holding, your tote bag of holding.
Oh, I thought I added it to my inventory. Sorry.
I think when Feng hears, yeah, this thing can drain lives. I think someone more responsible.
Well then, Feng, here you go. I already have a magic weapon.
Feng will take it and
Into the again, it's inaccessible because it's covered. It's like stuck within all these other things, mishmash of metals and other artifacts appear to have melted or fused around this device.
fair enough. The last thing I just want to do is like
Keep it away from him. You have a tote bag of bag of holding.
It's chucked in there. Plug back open.
the camera zoom, as you put it away, the camera refocuses itself, brings
Mhm.
attention to the last door, and you hear a sort of
Somehow
like
we know it's the
ominous music
last
coming
door.
from there. The last door
It-
that you just saw over
It
here.
is the latest door.
Oh no, that's the Burnlands game. I was going to say, did somebody want to give this guy last rites? But no, that silly paladin isn't. So shall we investigate the last door?
Certainly. Let's take a closer look at it.
Roll it with advantage.
Here you go.
Perception again.
Holy shit! Perfect.
22, 27. Feng, tell us
Hey,
something.
go ahead.
Perfect. All right. So here's what happens. This door, this does not have a spot for that. This doesn't have a spot for it. However, Chance, knowing what to look around for, puts on the goggles, looks back. Where Jericho and Feng are standing at, there's like a star pattern. At each of the other sides, there seems to be a section with like a little bit of a weird jewel at all of the four corners. And dead center is an area that has that could fit the hexagon. This one, as opposed to being on the wall, it's there's a hexagon spot on the floor.
The key is underneath where you guys are standing there.
What?
The keyhole is underneath where you guys are standing.
I don't believe you. Just kidding. Okay, just beneath. Kick up some dirt.
Yeah, you find where the dirt is at. You're able to find where, but the around the points where the sun pattern is pointing to, they start lighting up by that certain that moon glowish moonstone, sort of yellowish white, and you hear one more rumble as the doors open and water once again floods into the new chamber, illuminated from within. Once it opens, whereas here it's been fairly musty and flowery. As soon as it opens, like a fog just rolls in, and you hear a running water and the smell of mist and freshness and like a garden hits you. As you walk in, we're going to show you the new location. Give me a second. Go. And one more thing, maps and objects.
We're already in the water. Whee!
All of these things just. Oh, did I disappear? One of you guys?
You deleted me.
Yes.
And the explosion from the other room and the arrow from the other room.
There we go. All right. There you are. Over here, I'm gonna have to draw something now. In the far, you enter in, and you can now see where the water is just flowing from this area, and there's a big pool of water, dead center. Around the sides, there's some more of those bas relief carvings. These seem to be more like almost like statues, even a few statues. More pulling out, and there's a big motif of like more snakes and humanoids and almost like alien looking toads with long arms and sharp blades. Across the river over here, freehand, sorry, across this pond or this man-made lake, here you see a hooded snake statue.
Ooh, Cobra Kai.
There you go. That's pretty good. I hope that looks
I
decent.
don't know
See
what the
I'm-
last two things you drew were. Oh, the
Huh?
bottom fangs.
Fangs.
Never mind. Bottom fangs.
Bottom
yes.
fangs, yes, correct. Bottom
Okay.
fangs. I did it again. Sorry.
It's a giant's neck.
All right. And over here, you see something else. You see a over here you see a against the wall like a sort of a red bowl, an icon like a red dais with a red bowl, and over here you see a blue bowl. A green bowl. We're gonna call it green. And
It was
over
blue,
he-
but
sorry, I'm trying to do the best I can with these things.
Yeah.
And over here there's a crumbled. Oh, it's supposed to be bulletin. Over here there's a crumbled one of the statues is like fallen over and crumbled and half buried into the water. That is what you could see of interest from here. What would you like to do? Oh, sorry. One last thing. The camera is like slowly pointing out all the things. It slowly moves again back to the ginormous statue of this hooded cobra, and it stands a good 30 feet tall. As the camera pulls up to where his eyes are, the right eye, you see a sort of glowing white marble-ish thing with inside there's smoke wrapped within this glass globe, and it's just slowly moving. And every time it gets to the edge where it hits what appears to be a glass barrier, it glows bright white, almost like one of those effects. You've seen those electrical things where you touch the globe and it sparks around there.
Mhm.
That's what's happening, but from the inside out. That's the right eye. Over here, that's the right. I can't do it, but that's the right
It's
eye. On the left eye,
right or
it's,
our right.
well, I'm going to draw it right here.
Artistry at its finest.
The other eye is missing. In fact, the whole area around the left side of the face seems to have been like destroyed, like carved out or broken up. The rock
And-
is.
And
It's
it
been
probably exploded in the
vandalized.
other room.
What's that?
And it probably exploded in the other room. That
Who
would be my
knows?
guess. Does this? I'm going to ask a silly question. Does this look at all like a shard of destiny?
This is very much so what cut to, like, as the camera zooms into it, it fades into Alora saying, God of Destiny. And that, superimposed into what exactly this is. This is what you've been looking for.
So I think what we have to do here has to be, warning, pun coming, bold.
This is where Jericho takes off his backpack, opens it up, takes out a small package, opens that up, and starts divvying up the donuts.
Giving up the what?
The donuts. Just regular sugary donuts to have a little break before doing this, because this seems like a
Oh.
perfect opportunity to take it cautiously, look around, and have a meal while thinking. It's already
In other words,
night.
Take a break, yes.
Take a break
Okay.
and consider all the options. It's time.
It's necessarily, I'm asking for sponsor money.
Yep, yeah. Time to buy some donuts for you then.
Fantastic. All right, so there we go. With that, the camera pulls out as you contemplate your moves. God's view from over the top fades out to commercial, where our sponsors will be right back. In the
And,
meantime, please enjoy.
Our donuts.
There you go.
Boom. And beyond.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody,
Hello,
to
ladies and gentlemen.
To our
Tabletop
doom.
Theater, where we continue with Into the Viper's Nest.
It got so heated up that Carlos lost his jacket.
Yes, it got hot.
It's getting hot
Here's my
in
hood.
here.
Oh, I know the rest of this. Actually, as long as I don't show nipple, we're fine. Nipple or feet. That's the rules, right? Continuing on. You finish licking off donuts.
Mhm.
You guys have had a long rest, so all of your skills, all of your capacities, all of your powers are back to 100%.
Super duper resty donut. Mm.
Whilst you were in look now that you
And I
finish
give
it
another
up,
inspirational speech.
yes, do it.
Guys, we're about to face a snake. Snakes are slithery, but they're not normally as big as that big ass one across the way. So you're more powerful than a snake. Just like step on the neck, chop off the head. It's dead. Let's go for it. Have 9 temporary hit points.
With that, your spirits lifted up just a little bit.
How many
Yeah.
temporary hit points?
9.
9.
999.
Here's the thing. You know this guy's a slick talker, right?
Just snakes out. What is it? Snakes
As you're saying this, you're like giving out your inspirational speech, and hand up. The camera slowly zooms in as you're doing it back into the face of the fanged statue, this cobra. What else would you like to do?
Well, should we look at the bowls? Should we look at the dead statue?
Sponsor Coca-Cola refreshes my mind, and we continue with the game. And well, there seems to be several icons on the walls.
I'm drinking from the competitor.
Like Fanta?
That's Tango.
Never heard of it.
It's a UK. It's basically Britvic, which a company. They do Pepsi and all that.
Yeah, it's we have a similar company that does Pepsi and Yappa, which is essentially Tango. But yeah, we are getting off topic.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Carlos.
We have a very minute amount of time to continue here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Bowl or directly to the snake?
Snake. Get this over with, and we can get you back into the prison where you belong.
Let's just take our time here. Yeah.
No.
Well, there is apparently no direct route over the snake.
You could cross through the water. By the way, this looks like a cliff, but it's not. It's just you could wade into this pool of water.
Yeah.
We can see the bottom, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feng, of course, is just going to be using his quarterstaff just to test his footing as he's advancing across.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
go
not
around
one
this
of those ponds that are deceptively shallow looking.
Roll me the thing again.
way. Given this is only 5 feet, can't we just like hop across?
You can.
When we're saying the thing, there's
From
not a
there to
skill
there.
code.
Chance moves from there to there. Jericho goes over here and starts testing out.
No, the other guy. That's
Bang.
Feng who starts
Feng,
testing.
sorry. Feng
Feng's in the
starts.
water.
Feng's in the water, starts testing out the thing, and the second you roll me a
Perception.
perception check. Sure enough, you get into the water, and as you come in, you can see there's already ripples from what's happening, but when you come in, where you enter in, it starts glowing, and the whole water like absorbs, and wherever you're disturbing it, it it glows, and that glows spreads throughout the water. The two bowls light up with a red flame. The green one over here lights up with a green flame. This black crumbled down statue further crumbles into the water and disappears with a loud splash. This statue, however, pops out behind the waterfall that's coming here. Comes to, starts an animatronic rock in the shape of like a large, weird looking toad. Met both carved arms, just like starts coming out. On his forehead, there seems to be a moon crystal or something that's similar to the moon crystal, but it's circular and it's glowing greenish, and it has that same type of swirl that is reminiscent of the spirit shard. And in fact, when you look at the camera cuts to the eye, the remaining eye, and also that smoke has now become greenish. And this animatronic stone golem starts moving forward, shaped like almost like a beetle or a weird metallic beetle or toad with long pincered elongated sharp claws, steps slyly into the water, and then
Do I detect an initiative roll coming soon?
yes, this is what's happening now. But
How did I know?
before it does that, no, right now is a good time to do it before it jumps into the. As this happened, it jumps into the actual water, and where it lands, it disappears again and blends camouflage-like into the water itself and disappears. The camera cuts to your guys' reaction. Roll me initiative. Froglum. Hey! Yes! It's a frog. Of course it is. It's a Froglum. Frog is gonna fucking kill you all.
It's about time. We've been talking smack about Froggy for a good while. Finally, the avatar of Froggy is about to deal some damage.
You remember the old Power Rangers movie where the Blue Power Ranger was complaining about being a frog?
No.
I
Roll
have
initiative,
not seen
Fang.
the new Power Rangers movies.
Not the new one, the old one, the very first one.
I haven't seen that
Successful
one either.
Roy
So
Have you not?
The Super Sentai is not really my thing.
Well, this
Give
would
me
have
a second
been
while I-
one that
I-
wasn't based on Super Sentai material. It was all brand new material because it was based on.
Fang?
All right, I rolled a 16, so
Fang hasn't rolled yet.
No,
Fang rolled 20.
Oh, it's up there. Sorry. Never mind.
20, 6, 9, and 16. All right, so I'm gonna have to write this down.
So it's Fang, Froglim, the rest of us, and Fang again.
Yep.
I'm literally the last, so after me the turn.
You guys help me keep track of this, please, because I don't have a thing.
I'll
and
get
I'm
that
gonna be
under
very too busy.
Isn't there a thing
t-
in roll 20 for that?
There is, but I don't have time for it right now.
Okay.
Nobody told him that how to use that.
There is, and I'm looking for it. But in the meantime, please go ahead and Feng. What would you like to do?
Well. Fuck, I forgot how much I moved.
Actually, what I could do with this guy is I could just put him in the map player, can't I?
One.
There we go. He disappears.
I'm going to come to here because that's like the last place I saw him. I'm then going to just look around. And if I see any disturbance of the water,
Which there is.
How deep is the water?
The deepness of the water is almost chest height,
Oh, okay.
almost waist height for you, which means, very specifically,
Mhm.
water is half movement.
damn it, 50. So I was what here? Right there.
You're right there.
Yeah. Hold on. 1, 2, 4. Let's get to there with my 50 feet range.
Fantastic.
Basically, I'm just going to be looking.
Roll me a perception check.
Yeah.
This is going to be your action.
To see any.
With a 13, the DC to check through this is 13. This is your act. Your action is to look, and you can see that absolutely that there's a disturbance in the water, and you point to him.
Yeah.
Because you have used your action to find
Okay.
and identify him, and I'm going to just reveal him because I can do that. Oop.
Okay.
It's too far for you to punch. Aye. Okay.
Do you have any bonus actions or anything else you would like to do?
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Bum, 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 bum.
Who needs music in the back?
Going to be.
Okay, I
It's
have
the
no
Barney
idea
song.
what that song is.
I love you. You love me. We're a happy family.
Barney song.
it's actually-
isn't it?
It's not a
It's
Kermit
actually
the Frog.
Knick Knack Paddywhack. Give a dog a
Oh.
bone. This old man came riding home. But it's also the Barney song.
Yeah.
Because it's royalty free. Anyways,
It's just
bonus
when
action.
you start
What's
singing,
your bonus
I forgot
action,
it's
Hank?
Knick Knack Paddywhack. I got no bonus action, so it's the monster.
Okay. You're not going to dodge.
Yeah, dodge is an action.
Patient defense.
Dodge is an action. He can't do
Sure.
2 actions.
Certain monks have patient
Not
defense.
for me.
But if that's
Yeah.
not the case, then on his turn,
When... Yeah, I've got evasion. That's if I have to do an evasion roll.
okay.
But I
That's
don't
okay.
have-
Not all subclasses of the monk
Yeah.
version have the patient defense.
No,
Certain
I
ones.
don't.
And that's okay. My dude, Froggy, is like, whoa, there he is right there. Why can't they click on it?
Because you're
Rogue
in
Scanner's
the
taking
map.
control of it. That'll be why.
Oh. Yeah. Wait. There it is. You're correct. I was in the wrong layer. GM layer. Comes forward, is going to do the attack. His first attack pops out of the water. No, it's not with advantage because you know exactly where he's at. So it's
Yep.
just a normal attack. Froggy, there he is. He's going to swing twice against you, not with advantage.
Schwang? Schwang?
Ah!
22, 28. Ow.
That is lethal.
I think both of these hit you.
Yeah, it's got a +10.
Yes, it does.
Ouch.
Jeepers
How many
creepers.
of these do you see?
Two.
You see one stone golem again. It just pops out of the water like almost like nothing. Its thing starts glowing, bright greenish, and with movements so swift and fast, you can just see these pinchers start forward and just hit you on the clavicle, and they
This
pull
is
back
a
out again.
boss encounter.
Hold on.
That is its turn.
I'm gonna need to get the calculator out if that's gonna be the damage it's in.
34.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's me.
Top of the yeah. Next person is again. I need your guys' help with this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't write it
It's
down.
me and then Jericho.
Yep.
Chance, what would you like to do?
Damn.
Well, whoops. No. I don't have to go that close to him. I think it's time to get my point across to this guy. And given he's engaged with Feng, we will do a couple of blinking daggers at him and hopefully get a sneak attack in here. 21.
21 hits. Damage. I'm going to keep track of the
The
damage.
damage is 6 plus.
Come on, you should be at least getting a sneak attack. I am bloody
Oh,
engaged
God.
with this guy.
46 and I rolled an 8? Yuck.
So given a total damage of 14.
14?
Do you hate me?
No, I didn't hit you.
No. I mean, do you hate me? Is it like chances just going, you know what? It's a bit of a dick. I'll just throw this off.
What did you hit him with?
The
Oh, the blink dagger.
And the other blinking dagger also hits, but only does 7 damage.
By the way, does it count flanked the Hugh if he's attacking, if Feng has him in melee?
The way that his works, specifically only his, is that if somebody has to be engaged for it to count as flanking for chance.
So
Yeah.
he is engaged with Feng, so that's actually a critical one, because that's with an advantage.
No, that was the second attack, not the first.
The second one. So then it's basically a +1, so it's 22.
Extra.
Okay, do you guys see the hit? I don't know if you can see it or not, but I put. No, you can't see it. Good. All right. I'm keeping track of his damage. The daggers hit and literally just bounce off of the stone, and you can see little chips of stone, tiny chips of stone, like flake off of it, and it doesn't even notice. I mean, it hit him off in the back, and it's still like resetting his arms, retract. His neck swirls around, trying to engage all the targets. In fact, he's staying forward, but the neck, Froggy's neck, just swivels around, and what appears to be slots for eyes stops briefly at Jericho, stops briefly at Chance. Now that you threw those daggers, and looks back at Feng, and then readjusts his arms. Anything else you'd like to do before you end your turn?
Anywhere to hide over here?
Yes.
Behind these green
Rocks.
things, maybe?
In the water!
No. Fuck that. Behind these green things, I guess.
Roll me. You're using a bonus action to hide. Roll me. Stealth roll.
19.
Okay.
Or 19.
And that ends your turn.
Yes.
Okay. Jericho, your turn. What would you like to do?
Jericho will take one step forward to get that thing in the 30 feet and draw out his sword, pointed forward. By the power of Halo, I compel thee to a duel.
Oh, shit. Spell save, DC 14. So, the golem has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
Well, let it try.
Here we go. I'm going to roll with what kind of save is it?
I believe it is a wisdom save.
No, wisdom save. Probably a wisdom save.
It reads the wisdom saving throw.
Perfect. Wisdom. And as your
advantage is no.
His head that was still like swiveling around swivels back to you, and as with his head still swiveled, pointing right at you, the rest of his body swiveled, and then his legs swivel as well.
And as it reacts that way, Jericho is going to take a step back just to be surrounded by dry land, so it can't attack him from the water. And raise up his shield in a defensive posture, aka dodge.
Gotcha. It starts moving towards you.
But it's first Feng's turn.
Oh, that's right. It is Feng's turn.
Yeah, damn it. Yep.
If Feng hits it, does that cancel out your spell?
No.
No.
Maybe.
If I hit someone else, it cancels the spell.
Oh. Let's take a wisdom saving. Creatures drawn to you, compelled by your advantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you. Must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you, and it's
Okay.
on the saving throw. This spell doesn't restrict the target's movement for that turn.
You
To
see,
attack any other creature, cast a spell that targets a hostile creature. Target the creature friendly to you damages the target, or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet from the target.
which I think you've.
Ah,
No, you were at 25 feet.
yeah, I
from
was
the
at
red
25
circle.
feet when I cast it, so the spell is
Yeah.
now in effect.
Yeah.
And if it for a creature friendly to you damages the target or casts a harmful spell on it, or if you end your turn more than 30 feet away from that. Okay, so I need to stay
So if
within
Fang
the-
attacks it, then the spell's ended.
So I need to stay there. Okay, I read that wrong. So I
No,
need
but
to...
if Fang attacks it, then the spell's gone.
Yeah.
But I would have stayed there because I don't want to end it 30 feet away from it. So
You brought his attention, but potentially with what I'm going to do.
yeah, you're just gonna wait for it to come to me, delay your turn after it, and that way you'll have a flank.
What I got, yeah. What I think what Fane's going to do is he's still reacting to the shock of
Oh.
these blades entering his body.
Just one
Jericho?
thing.
Yeah.
It's like once that effect is shield is up, it's like, bang, get the eye. I got this.
So like Fang is just taking a moment. He's
Bleeding profusely, holes
Yeah.
about this big.
Fang has
Yeah.
now found out what it means to be holy.
And what Fang's going to do is he's going to hearing that 1, 10, 20.
That's a withdraw action, right?
What?
A withdraw action.
Good point. Yes. I'm not doing anything else, so of course it would be. Is that going to be difficult terrain?
To move from the water,
to up
but
to
once
there.
you get to the normal, it's fine. So you only
So
use
that's 30 I've used. Okay.
Mhm.
1.
okay.
Before I full 50.
Don't sit on the Fang.
Do you also want to? I mean, if you haven't used any actions, you could.
Well, I did the withdrawal, so you couldn't do an op.
Gotcha. There you go. All right. End your turn then.
Yep.
Sure enough, with that, he's moving over here, sees what's happening, and the spell effect is still like lingering. You could see like there's little bits of the sparkling effect around its head. It kind of like sinks, that little sparkling effect sinks into his the stone that's in the head, and then it turns from greenish, glows a little bit brighter, and then turns red, and then you see like a pulse of energy come out. It's throwing out an effect of its own, a magic effect of its own called slow. I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw of 17 or better.
Ooh, ouch.
Ooh, it is a boss monster. Damn. I did.
Oh, nice.
You
Choose
feel like
the
a,
payload, my friends.
within this area, you could see like there's a sort of bubble encompassed around this area as it expands outward. The water where everything's at stops moving, where everything around it continues moving. As it starts reaching you, you can feel yourself freeze and then take off the effect and just continue moving.
And then
As that
the
whole-
sword of Palo shines up, and it's sort of like warms up the surroundings in the bright yellow light, chasing off the magical effect.
Man, fucking tastic! I love it. All right, now I roll a 1d6 to see if it recharges. At the beginning of my turn, it doesn't matter. However, That was his one big spell effect. Next, I'm going to do 2 attacks against you
Are they at
with
disadvantage?
with disadvantage.
with disadvantage.
Hit.
25 and 20 and 16.
Miss.
All right, so the first one. Uh,
Ow!
the first one just like again that arm just shoots out stupidly quick, and it manages to pass through, like it almost knocks your shield out of the
Actually,
way.
it only has disadvantage against attack creatures other than you.
No, it has a disadvantage on me because I used dodge.
Ah, oh, okay.
So it has disadvantage against anything
Okay.
in this combat round.
That ends its turn. Chance,
Um,
and then Jericho's up.
I attack it, then
douse the flames.
good idea. I will go. Oops. I will move as opposed to throw myself here and douse the flame. There's water handy right beside
There's
me.
water
so-
handy. Bowl.
Kick
You
the
just
bowl.
reach into your knapsack. You reach in. You dump your contents of your knapsack. Grab a bunch of water. Go to dump it onto the thing. Things are moving weirdly, quickly. It's one of those situations where we're trying to grab as much water as possible. Yet you're dealing with an Arcana thing. So roll me an Arcana.
Oh, yuck. I don't do Arcana.
I
See?
know.
I got the water there. I just missed the flames. What? No.
You hit the water hits it, and it just sits on the bowl, and you can see for like a second the green starts fluttering, and then starts going still green on top of the water itself, still going. That takes an action. You still have bonus action and anything else you'd like to use.
Ash, disengage, or hide, or any of my spells.
Now is the time to use that chill spell.
The chill spell, yeah. I wish I had that.
Because you're not chill. It's in the name.
Like Ray of Frost might be good.
Maybe
Where do I
Thunderbolt.
find if these things are actions?
Oh,
Casting time, one action. Round, one action. No, none of those are bonus actions. So I will. I guess I'll hide again. Since those
he
are my
decides
choices.
to hide.
Because there's no point in dashing away. Hide on this side.
Roll me another.
Stealth. I can do these.
Not an idea, but
It is your turn, Jericho. What would you like
My
to
turn. Now I will take those brave steps to the dry land to get it away from the water. And dodge.
do? And dodge.
Dodge.
All right.
It might hit me, but hopefully half as often.
Feng. It is your turn.
Yeah. Thing's gonna go up. So how high up?
30 feet
is-
high.
30 feet high.
And it's slick. There's a lot of moss.
Okay.
There's a few vines that you might be able to grab onto, or some stones.
Okay.
Cinematically, it's going to be a challenge. It'll take your entire movement and your full-on action just to even attempt to get up there. Or figure out a creative solution.
Throw a
Try to
dagger
hit
at
with
it.
a dagger. I could try and hit it with a dagger. Oh, it's
Right,
easily
so I'm not going to
range.
jump that high. Okay, my strength is not that high for me to do the high jump. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of do my best, like Jackie Chan, run up up the wall, just kind of using any nukes and crannies to just push myself up. You know?
I mean, acrobatics. It's still again here. This area is slick and it's kind of
Yeah.
like a difficult terrainish, so we're gonna have it with a disadvantage. The 15.
Not bad.
15 is just enough, even with disadvantage. So you're able to climb, and you're hanging on its face with one hand, and you could, I mean, probably next turn you'll be able to reach the stone and you'll be up there. And I don't know what you're gonna do once you get up there, but
Yeah.
it is now. While you're still like trying to reach up there, the camera quickly changes to show Froggy Golem climbing out of the water with loud big steps. And you can see now it seems to be like a multiple beetle-ish these thick legs that are just moving up on it with like big fins. Definitely some sort of cross between a frog and a rock and insects. Moves forward and gets up to you and starts just locks in on you, and once again just starts going with 2 slime attacks with disadvantage on both of them. Oh, natural 20.
Good thing it was
18,
disadvantage.
18 doesn't hit though. But the second attack does.
All of these would have hit me.
Yeah.
And you're just putting up your shield, and every time the shield hits, that massive strike almost pushes you 3 feet back. And where one is push you back, and the shield almost toward that, exposing the other side, and that's when the hits on your and pierces into your chest again, a hole about that big, and withdraws now, and just blood and ichor are there, and it's still.
I just love how in one hit it does the same amount of damage it takes most of us to do with all the special add-ons that we do to our attacks.
One boss and one. Yeah, there's definitely a boss fight.
Yeah,
yes,
this is definitely a boss fight. Yes.
Yeah, that's me
that's
at
its
half
turn.
hit
Oh,
points.
wait. One more thing. Reroll or recharge. So I have to roll d6. It recharges on a 5 or 6. Roll 1d6. I rolled a 2. It does not get its spell. You see the thing still like kind of faded and crackling greenish. But it's still faded in color, not as bright as it was before. But it's starting to glow again and get ready to pulse.
I have a question.
Shoot!
Is this bowl just like sitting on a pillar, or is it attached to something?
It's attached to a dais.
Okay, so I can't just toss the bowl.
In
into
fact,
the water.
you could see here where you're at. I mean, there's remnants of like a sacrifice, like where you're standing on now is a platform, and you can see there where you're standing is now stains, scratches, blood marks. It's almost like that is the sacrificial area, and this is a bowl that would go towards that or next to it.
So I have 2 options here. One is to screw over Jericho's spell, but at least try and do some damage to this guy, or fill the bowl with water again. Well, my last instructions by the fool, Jericho, was to fill this thing with water. So I'm going to try and do that again.
All right. This time you saw that it kind of flooded for a little bit, but then floated to the top. This time, more carefully, you grab water, and as you're grabbing, you see the bag is like slipping water cutting through it. You try to make it there as quickly as possible. You don't know exactly how much water you managed to grab between the time and now. So we're going to roll another Arcana check with this. We're going to roll another Arcana check. 12.
Well, it's better than last time.
Flickered. It covered it, and you can see like as it's hitting it, it's almost like blowing out one of those candles, Christmas birthday candles that flickers, and then all of a sudden sparks up again. and then continues back on top of the water again as
I'm not the
water's
right
now
person to
flowing
be
out.
doing this. I should be climbing the bloody statue.
that's your action. Bonus action.
I pee on it.
Yes.
And no, that would probably take too long to get out of the armor. Or what the hell I'm wearing. I can't intimidate it.
You could intimidate the flame. It's magical.
You're fired. No, yeah. Can't charm it. Detect magic would take way too long. Make myself look different. I can. Oh, I can use the mage hand to gather more water. No, no.
Yes, that's an idea.
Except that's an action.
Yes.
Which case I'm not actually doing anything. I will. Nothing else I can do as a bonus action but hide. So. Or dash.
Turn.
But
Jericho, what would you like to do?
I would like
I hide
to
very well.
survive. But that seems unlikely because I need to stay 30 feet of this. So I can't get away from its reach. So,
Disengage would. If you don't disengage, that might create a opportunity attack.
Exactly. And if it,
In which case you're not dodging. Oops.
yeah, and I would
Well,
be
actually,
beyond
that-
30 feet, and that would mean it would get loose out of the spell anyway.
If he moves away right now it's still on dodge mode, and then he could choose his action after he moves.
Yeah, the dodge remains until the start of your next turn.
Oh, then I take it back.
Well, either way, that was a nice thing. I am, however, going to go to use a action to heal myself.
Bonus action. If you take bonus actions to take the big things, or your normal action to take, your lay on hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a big thing, so I'm gonna
Bonus
need to...
action. What is it? Hang on.
4d4 plus 4.
That's a normal one.
Ah,
Wait. Healing potion. Actually, that might be better.
48.
48.
Or 8d4.
Yeah. 8d4 plus 8.
8d4.
Well, that's a superior. You have one superior healing and a couple.
Yeah, I'm
of
gonna take that one. Yeah. 23. That's boosts me up to 50, and I can take another dodge action.
All right, so you quickly just like splash the bottle and then drink the rest of it. Where it hit, sizzles, and then you can see like the flesh just instantly like cauterize and stop the flow of blood, and you feel ready and energized, and you're just dodging.
Work faster! I'm running out of life here.
Don't think I should probably be hitting this.
Feng, you're hanging with one hand on the cobra thingy. What would you like to do?
Can I pull myself?
Free action to pull yourself up into that area. Yes.
Yeah.
It's still awkward. You're still awkwardly handling. Because you have to use.
But I'm just thinking that if I can pull myself up on top of it, might be easier for me to then reach down and extract.
Okay.
Than me trying to hang.
I'll give you a free acrobatics, or I'll ask you to get into a better position freely. Give me an acrobatics check. Okay. Not quite there. It's difficult. That's a freebie though. So you're up there, but it's slick.
Yeah.
You don't have the sense of stability and balance, and you're holding on with your legs and almost with the arm. So you have like 1.5 hand free to interact with this thing.
Yeah.
But now that you're getting closer to it, the glow is like hitting you in the face, and there's a sense of like danger and trepidation, and your things seem to be slowing down, and you have a very strange sense of deja vu.
Can I just when I'm looking around, can I see how this thing is secured? The eye socket of this.
This will take your entire turn to do a full investigation on it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Do it.
There. Investigation.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, ow! You lost track of where the eye was.
It's so odd because like it's both. It's not just like somebody carved the stone and then put this thing on it and clamped it. It's almost like the eyelid of it is like fully enclosed into it. So it's entirely enclosed in stone
Right.
within.
It's like the shard was always there, and then they carved.
That's
statue
exactly
out from it.
correct. That
That's
is
why the-
exactly what's happening.
That's why the other eye looks like it was damaged because they got rid of the eyelid. That makes sense.
But as you're looking closer into it,
Yeah.
the swirl for a second. Make me a wisdom saving throw. Save.
What the hell? This is the thing a monk should be good for, and it's nope.
While you're still looking and wondering how
Yeah.
it is, that sense of deja vu gets stronger, and the swirls sort of do like a hypnotic thing. And you know how when you look at clouds, faces appear?
Yeah.
It looks like a memory of a face from your youth. A long time ago, something tragic, really, really tragic in your past happened. That memory comes into your that images that shapes that smoke seems to do that shape of a face of a memory of something. Take us back there for a second. What is it that you see?
It's the image I see is a kid standing over me, rain pouring down. I'm carrying by his feet, hand raised, blood dripping. Dumb. Think you deserve to live a your mom was. And it's at that point I try to jump for the kid.
And it stops there.
Yeah.
The memory pauses at that second as you regain your consciousness, and you're back in the chamber again, hanging there. And it's just again the swirl. You don't know if it took a second, 10 seconds, feels like an hour and a second at the exact same time. And it feels so real. You were there. You almost have to you almost still have that taste of blood on your lips. Cut to Froggy. Still rolling with disadvantage, right?
Yep.
Not that that's
Miss!
had much of an effect.
17.
Miss!
Off another natural 30. This time you are pushed. In fact, we're going to move you back a little bit.
No. It's a miss.
I know.
Misses.
I know, but thematically, what's happening is
Okay.
with each of its strikes, you're perfectly putting the shield directly in front of you, and you get pushed back a good 2-3 feet. And the second one, now that you know it's combo, you dodge it to the other side, and it pushes you another 2-3 feet, and it's just like hammering it and trying to find doing like false stops and trying to look to see where it could like hit you. Cut to Chance's turn.
Yeah, this is when we.
I'm gonna try something different this time, maybe.
Yeah, take a chance.
Yes, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna try to use, if I can, sleight of hand to get the water into this damn thing.
Roll
we
me.
don't have like health potions that just heal like 150 hit points at a time.
You have there's some that are supreme healing that are very rare.
No, I'm making that Final Fantasy reference though.
Roll your hands magically. Two little hands appear, and this time they go bigger. They disappear into the water and come back out like a cupped hand. And this time the water seems to be like glowing and quickly and easy without spilling much. Just hovers over the thing, opens the hand, and pours down the remaining of the liquid. Roll me with advantage.
Arcana again?
Yes.
Yeah, this is hopeless. Oh, maybe not.
Natural
Natural-
20!
Natural
Okay.
1 and a natural fucking 20.
But I would have got to re-roll the natural one anyway. But there you go. I don't.
You don't want to reroll any of that.
With that, the flame is just like grips onto it, and the flame sputters. A tense couple seconds as the water's still spilling down, and it's bubbling. The water stops falling. The camera dramatically zooms in onto the bowl. And there's still like a little bit of smoke coming out from the top, a little bit of a spark, like it's wanting to relight. Bubbles from underneath. Spark. Then empty. Still water, but just a little tiny bit of ripple. No flame. A few 5-10 seconds later, no flame comes out. Cut the camera dramatically cuts to the froggy thing in green. The green orb fades to dark, and it stands there frozen in place. Battle stops.
Don't want to know what the red monster is.
It was the broken one.
Ah. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So the camera dramatically, the music, all of a sudden there's it stops being racing and dramatic, and dead silence as the froggy insect still standing just in place, stone statue. Jericho waits for it to move. It doesn't. Chance looks at the bowl. Nothing's happening. And Feng is up there at the top with holding on top of the copper hood, still trying to figure out what to do with this eye.
Want some help, Fang?
It's part of the statue.
I'm so upgrading my armor next time. Next chance I
Nice.
get.
My AC's 15. All of those things would have hit me.
And
You're
all
not
of
a
those things would have
tank.
killed you.
Well, 58 hit points with the bonus.
But Jericho's not taking chances, and he's going to coup de grace this statue anyway.
Roll it with advantage, and it's a natural 20.
There we go.
Okay, roll it again. Well, that doesn't matter. It's a natural 20. With it, like it's standing in place, and where its head is, it cuts through the stone, finds that just that perfect spot where it's been swiveling. It separates, and the head just flies up, lands into the water. There's a lot where the neck is. You can see a little bit of like light greenish light and a little bit of a sparkles. And then the stone statue, even though it's still standing perfectly upright, the arms fall apart and it crumbles into just a mass of stone limbs. The head that had landed into the water disappears completely.
Get the head, Jericho.
No way I'm gonna go fishing for that.
Well, then I'll do it because it had a glowy thing in it.
Hey, go ahead.
All right. Sorry, Fang. I was going to help you, but
Jump into the water if that's your choice,
well, I'm going to go
and
around.
search me
this way.
an investigation or perception with disadvantage, even though
Okay.
you have the goggles on.
27 and 21.
Holy shit.
Jericho is gonna just use the rim and go to the head.
You pop out of the
snake head.
water again, and you hold up triumphantly the head of this thing, and on the top of it is like opal. It's clear. It's cloudy, like a clouded glass.
Okay.
You put that into your inventory for later. Meanwhile,
Bang.
bang. You need a hand with that.
Like they carved this statue around. It's like the eye was always here. They just knew it was here and they just carved this thing out.
You sure they just didn't insert it in from some other angle?
No, it doesn't look like that.
Could have been inserted from behind.
Oh, they could be a hole above, and there's just and they covered the hole.
Take a look at the other hole. I can't move myself with that button.
Yeah, take a look at the empty eye hole.
Okay.
See how they put it in there.
Okay,
me
why
another
are we stuck
investigation.
together?
Oh, do you want me to get up there and take a look?
Well, you're in heavier armor. I can probably get up there more easily.
Yeah, my investigation's not working.
it's that
Well, your mic
area.
is two
It's
on
just
it.
like if somebody took a pickaxe and just obliterated. I mean, you can't even. It might have even been a cave in. But knowing from the previous history, you're pretty sure that the other person just hacked at the stone repeatedly to get it to do stuff.
Not like we have any time pressure anymore, so. I'm gonna try climbing up
You
there.
could always ask for help too.
I'm gonna climb up there. Athletics, I believe.
Yes.
You'd undone your armor.
No, I rolled that twice, so probably the
It's,
first
so
one.
well,
Is it disadvantaged? The
because
armor.
it's slick. I made him roll with disadvantage
Okay.
because it's slick. The
Okay,
first
fair
try, you get up a little bit and you grab onto one of the vines, and it's slick, and you lose your grasp. You fall flat. You fall back into the water or on your back. Just only 5 feet. The only bruises you get is your ego. This time, knowing better, you climb stronger and better. The camera zooms in on your muscles moving up, carefully climbing up, and now the both of you are up there.
Alright, let's try this investigating thing. Let's see. I'm gonna investigate the empty eye hole to see if it's really what I suspect is that they have a slot upwards and they insert it and it slides gently into place from the inside, like a little. What's that called?
Sure.
Slot.
Yeah.
I understand. It's a woodworking technique, but
Yeah.
done with stone.
Exactly. So 23.
23. You're able to see where, yes, your theory might be true. There are sections of the head, the claws that can, the mouth that can, like be pieced in. But for the most part, it is built into the rock. There, you might be able to remove the bottom right hand fang and try to reach it from underneath, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try.
Well, we know who should go after the fang. I mean, fang.
Feng, your hands are more dexterous than mine. We can take this out.
Oh, also, while you're up there and you're having while you're carefully inspecting that, you also start getting that sense of deja vu. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
21 and twice.
Nothing of interest happens. You just have like a sense of, I know what happened here. I know instinctively that you have to take the fang out and that it's dangerous. and it's a very strong sense of deja vu.
Right. Yeah. If you take out the fang, we can go in, and that might be a way to get it out without breaking it. So you have the
Can
more
I in-
nimble hands.
Can I
And when I'm talking
investigate the
fang, I'm talking like this fang is it's big. It's
Yeah.
probably a good 4 feet tall, and it's going to be heavy. It's a big piece of stone that's
Yeah, I can
slotted
probably
somehow.
take it out, but you are gonna need to do the other thing. So I'm gonna use my athletics to try and dislodge it.
Roll it.
18?
18. You start doing the thing, and you could feel it, and you have to get your legs, and then you use your legs to push off the wall, and you're squeezing onto the fang. You could finally feel a shift, and you're moving, and it seems to be working. There's a spot that it's seems to be almost to getting stuck, and it's halfway in and halfway out, and you just know like one good big push, and this thing will move. But bang, you start noticing that the eye is starting to do that little tiny bit of a wobble.
Ah,
I'm gonna get down below in case it rolls out of something to try and catch it.
yes. Careful. You're disturbing the eye.
Okay, this is gonna need finesse. Aha! It only takes one push. I think. One good push. But if the eye wobble... Oh, you're saying I'm disturbing the eye?
I think you are, yes.
I think I have just a tool for this. I have, in my toolkit, this suction cup that you can attach to the eye and keep it still.
Ooh, smart.
Yeah, it's one of those things from the paint world. It's awesome. So you take
And
this
I can have
suction
my
cup and
mage
keep the
hand hold
eye,
on to it.
or just Feng, who is up here, can do it.
Yeah, so you just either the pumping of the you know, to get the suction on it.
You also have to you push your one hand to secure it into place, and where your fingers touch it,
Yeah.
That sense
I said
sense
use
of
the mage
deja vu
hand.
hits strong again, and plus where your fingers touch the what seems to be almost like glass, except it's a warm glass. It almost feels fleshy, not like glass at all. Like it actually could be an eye itself.
Yeah.
Where your fingers touch it, it glows bright spots, and the second you push the thing onto it, the second you push the thing onto it, you start seeing it glow and start pulse. And in where normally the smoke inside was lice and slow and curly, like just moving in space, all of a sudden just like freaks out and starts moving fast and doing like these odd shapes, like it's trying to rapidly get out of the glass, and it's trying to like attack towards it, and it's pulsing and glowing. It does not like this at all. Things are starting to come to a head. You could feel like.
Would you like a plunger in your eye?
I'll remove my hand.
You let go of it, and now it's just stuck on there. It's still
Suction cup.
the suction cup, and the suction cup is like starting to vibrate around it, and it's like intensely the activity
gonna
within the
blow!
eye is intensely
I am going to hit the release on the suction cup. Drop it.
It's stuck on there now, really hard.
What a sucker.
You roll me a strength, an athletics.
You're not
You
doing
start
very
getting
well
it,
up there.
and then actually you fall backwards.
Yeah.
In your hands are like holding on to this. A lot of things happen in slow motion. The eye squeezes out of the eye hole, It's still attached to this
Because
thing.
it's an eyeball, it's not actually glass.
You're
Okay.
floating. You're moving backwards into this. Time moves slowly. This thing is freaking out, and almost feels like hands trying to reach through the actual glass itself. And every time it strikes, it like glows brighter. Your all's faces in slow motion, watching him come down. You, Jericho, from underneath the fang, you just see him fall backwards, and your slow motion, your eyes are just seeing him go
Can
down.
I try and either catch him or the eye if he drops it?
Roll me a. Hang on 1 second. I'll tell you what to roll me in a second here. I'm bring it up. Wait, wrong person. You all. I'll tell you what.
What are you fighting him worst at?
It's a reaction. So you're gonna give me a dexterity saving throw.
So just click on dexterity.
Yes.
There's the dexterity saving throw
Oh, well,
option. Oh, yeah, that's the right one. Yeah.
if I just click on dexterity, that's what.
You click on you
16.
click on the dexterity. You're able to catch, and again in slow motion, you see him coming, and you're able to like almost grab Feng as he's coming down. However, the ball, the eye, he lands on his back, and on both he lands on top of you. The ball, however, still goes backwards. Hits the stone. Time stops moving slow. You get a very, very, very clear sense of deja vu. You've been here before. You have dreamed of this moment. This has happened to you hundreds of times before already. As you were going to catch it, your necklace glows bright white as well. Time is still falling down.
Grab the ball.
It grabs it. The ball happens to hit the ground and crash, bursts, flash of bright white light. All three of you are surrounded in brightish, whitish light. A sense of smoke swirling, of maelstrom. Time is, I don't know, it's everywhere. It's nowhere at the same time. The last thing you remember is just the bright light, and you're unable to move. And then darkness envelops all three of you. That's where we're going to pause.
We have a
Today's
feeling
event.
we've done this before and we've fucked it up every single time.
Yep.
We're in a time loop, folks.
Let's do the time warp again.
And that's where we won't pause for tonight.
Oh, I'm looking forward to episode 4.
Episode 3.
Episode
This
3.
is episode 3.
No,
Nope.
this is
No,
episode
2.
2.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to episode 4, but I want to do episode 3
1
first.
was where we got you. Episode 2 was where we fought the lizards, and this
That
is
was
episode
that was
3.
the same.
That
That
was
was
the
the
same episode.
That
That's the
was
same
the
episode?
same episode.
Oh,
Unless you count going to the One Ring saving face as an episode, but no.
well, okay, fair enough. My bad.
So
No, it's mine that's going to be up to
Oh, yours is the episode 3. Okay,
right
right.
coming up.
yeah, the next third one, the resolution. It's a 3-act. This is a 3-act
Right.
game. The setup, the complication, and the resolution. You have just gone through the complication.
Dun,
Technically, you're at. If this were the story circle, you'd be at. You got what you paid. You
We're at
got what
we're
you wanted,
fucked.
but you just paid the heavy price.
Okay, that means next week we're gonna have the episode 3 of the Berland Saga.
Yep.
It's on next Saturday's program. Hopefully we'll have equally fun next month. The schedule still pending, but we're gonna be having a Babylon 5 game at least once. We're gonna have one Director Santana Tabletop Theater episode. the final episode, and also a Berland Saga episode 4. If we survive the next week.
Kill my beloved characters. So I would.
Hey!
So let me get your.
just-
This is the third time running this. What are your guys' thoughts on what's happening so far? This is a scenario that I've created. Like I should probably write this down because I made this scenario.
Were we destined to fail this?
Nope.
No,
And
but no,
There was a
but,
chance for failure.
There's a high chance for failure.
Failure
mean-
was always an option. The MythBusters phrase.
Yeah,
Hmm.
failure was always an option, and this is the third time we've run this. This is the third time it's exploded.
the answer is
We just don't know about the other two. Okay.
The first time they were able to. The first time I ran this, my group was able to get it safely, but due to story reasons, they exploded it themselves.
they threw it at the enemy.
Their choice, not mine.
mine.
Their choice, not mine.
Oh, and was one of these previous ones the corpse we found in the other room?
You're not telling us.
What'd you think of the stone golem?
It was scary.
That was nasty.
It was like, I'm so lucky it only hit me like 2 times, and still
Wow.
it took me down to 1 hit from KO.
Mm-hmm. That was nasty.
Just be glad you didn't get slowed.
No.
Oh my god, that would have sucked.
I mean, I was going, I've got this. And then I saw, hold on. What? What are the stats? What? Plus 10.
Did I actually do any damage with my daggers? Or did it
You
just...
did minimal. Just for
I
the
don't want to
record,
know what its health is.
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's pretty high.
You did less than 5% damage on it.
Yeah.
This is
for
one
it
of
to
those
be-
clear occasions where the GM says with the storytelling that
100
here is
hit
how you
points.
defeat it, but you can always try and
Really?
smash it in the face.
In on that note, by the way, this is a CR10 encounter. This is doable. This is only a deadly encounter for three level 7 guys.
Yeah,
And you guys have magical items.
we might have actually defeated it.
178 hit points.
It's
Holy
deadly.
crap.
It's deadly, but everything I throw at you guys is deadly.
So it should be, if we were 4 characters at level 10, it should be a mild challenge there.
And now it is an rather difficult, deadly challenge.
I always
fair,
throw deadly at you guys.
But also,
Yeah.
you did give us a very clear indication, like, here is a weak point. Use this.
I did.
I
And normally, honestly, my DM style is here's something. I don't know, figure it out, man. Whatever you think it is, that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I've had other people throw magic at it.
It's like golems have resistances to magic.
I was actually I was thinking of Shatter because Shatter generally has nice effects on stuff that are, rock based.
Another thing that I've done is I've had people do the damage to it instead with this is magical. He's got a resistance against saves, or he's resistant to magic, like each one.
He has
I had other
advantage on
people
saving
throw
throws,
magic
yeah.
against the dais, and I'm like, yeah, that works, sure.
Hmm?
I don't care. Figure it out. That's for you to figure it out.
But I appreciate that this is a you have these problems that have infinite amount of solutions.
Yes.
And
And I just present. And normally my thing is I present problems. I don't know how you guys resolve them. That's on you.
and we
That's
will
the fun.
die.
That's the fun part. Me reacting to that.
It's,
Well, cool. Thank you, guys.
By the
That's
way,
good feedback.
why in the bottom right-hand corner of this map, there's the Rocinante. Is that
That's,
like the spaceship from?
No, that's my horse.
It's a
Oh,
horse.
yeah.
oh, okay.
Literally, is just a horse.
It's
I
named after the
checked.
spaceship from.
I
The
checked
Expanse.
my logs to find out what the name of the
Oh yes, you did name
Horses.
it the
Rosie.
Rosinante.
That's Rosie.
Rocinante.
Or the Rossi, yes.
I like how you. What's that thing? What was that? What's that red thing over there? I'm like, don't worry, you'll get the red thing.
Don't worry. Nothing to see here.
Should have been green.
Probably. Oh, well. As fun as
Well,
I'm having with you guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up, as I do have places to be tomorrow, and I hear Director Santana also has places to be.
Yeah,
At least
actually,
things
yes.
to do.
I have things to see and people to do.
Yeah.
Ah.
In this order. So, thank you all for coming. It was fun playing, and hopefully we'll see you next week when we do the Badlands Saga episode 2.
Same bad
Yes.
time, same bad channel.
And we'll see what happens if these guys blow themselves up. How bad that turns out.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Ooh. Take care,
Okay.
Froggy.
Till next
Bonus
time.
nachos, everybody.
See you
Bonus
around the
nachos.
interwebs.
Nachos.
Bonus nachos.